My name's Aiden Hoffmer. I'm 21 years old, living in Auckland, New Zealand, and here's how social media has changed my life. Now, probably sounds a bit dramatic, and it is. I'm only 21, and it's social media, not too big of a deal. But it's definitely had a big impact on my life. I started posting content at 18 years old, doing personal development content. At 18 years old, you haven't developed much anyway, so bit ironic, but look like a knobhead doing it, but very glad I posted it and started because it did change a lot. Come a long way from then. I was scrubbing dishes for minimum wage at a part-time job whilst talking about success and whatnot with my content, but live and you learn. But then now got a video editing business and been doing that full-time for about 2 and a bit years, and I want to cover my story a bit with social media. This is more for myself. With the business, I'm making probably 15 to 20 grand New Zealand a month. So about a little bit more, a little bit less than 10,000 US dollars a month. But kind of got to the point where all of the goals were so monetary and so materialistic. And then now I've kind of got a taste of success. It doesn't really mean anything to me. It's a bit of a weird stage. I'm quite lost right now. And that's hence why I'm making this video, my first YouTube long form video. And yeah, usually the mornings consist of me making a coffee, being on my phone for ages, trying to find my purpose, whatever that means. And then been doing that for a good few months now. So this morning, I kind of had the idea to do this and didn't want to overcomplicate it and just kind of turned on record and done a few takes already. But trying to just work through it. With the story, with the content, I was 18 years old, posting just videos out of a university library that I didn't even go to uni for. I was just going there for free, which is very kind of them.
This is just a follow-up video. I made one on the 21st of October 2021. Now it's the 9th of March 2023. I'm currently working part-time and then working on my agency right now. So I've made a big improvement from when I first started from the last video, but I still got a long way to go. I'm not where I want to be, but one day when I've reached the goals I want to do, I can look back at this and just laugh.
But very glad I started. I managed to kind of over, I don't know, probably a year or so, got about 17,000 followers, kind of dropped a bit now. Started going into the personal development route and turning that into a business, and wanted to do kind of life coaching for teenagers, whatever the fuck that means. And then slowly realized that teenagers have no money and I can't really charge anything for that because there's no client base. So moved to a point where I was like, what am I really good at? It was either good at fitness. I've been going to the gym since 11, so there's that. Was learning video editing, and I went down the video editing route because I didn't fancy posing in the mirror like some gym influencer. Nothing against them, but not my cup of tea. So went that way, but I'm very glad I did. And then I don't know. I think social media, although it hasn't been like I haven't so-called gone mega viral where I've got this world-class brand or whatever. I did a few million in views and whatnot, but the main thing is that it gave me exposure. So I started going down the video editing route and then tried getting clients with that, and then eventually got one. And it was about 300 US dollars a month. And it was this kind of samurai content, kind of like, yeah, it was that. I'm really glad that I managed to get that, but it wasn't my niche. It was interesting. It wasn't my niche. Did that for a while, and then things started ramping up. Fast forward, I don't know, maybe half a year, and then managed to sign one big client, and then managed to meet some great people, and managed to get referrals and kind of brought into projects and whatnot, which was great. And then I was still working at the restaurant for that time, so I was kind of doing 14 hours a day for working on the I guess you could call it business, and then going to the restaurant in the evenings. And it was, honestly hated it. And I think a big driver for that was the kind of lifestyle. and then wanted to get out of that and then earn decent money.
So I'm making this video to look back at one day. It's currently the 12th of January 2024. I'm 19 years old and today is the last day of my job. I started my personal brand. That's what kicked it off. That was, I believe, January the 17th 2023, and then on July 22nd 2023 I signed my first video editing client, and then been going straight for it then.
Don't want to kind of jump back and forth, but then now feeling where I'm earning, I'll call it decent money, but then feel very lost, kind of like I'm moved into a new house with my partner, got a dog, got a cat, and then kind of, I don't know, I think got home office. It's like, I think if I added extra, if I started making 50 grand a month, I don't think much would change. Like the goals or the drive initially was to earn money, and kind of you see those videos on TikTok and whatnot, and it's kind of like escape the matrix and all of that stuff where it's kind of Rolexes and fast cars and whatnot. But then that was the initial goal, and then now I could not care less for it. It's such a weird stage where throughout my whole life it was very monetary driven or monetarily driven, and now I've kind of got a taste of it. It's like, I don't know, I don't think if I had a flashy car, I don't think anything would be much different. So kind of at a weird point now where it's got out of the uncomfortable situation and now things are comfortable, but then now I'm like, what's the drive? I'm cutting back and forth, so I'll try stick to the story as best I can. Managed to land a big client. I was probably working with maybe 3 people, and then one of them was big. I think it was about 3,000 US a month, and I was over the moon. Like, I thought I was genuinely rich and was going crazy about it. I managed to quit the job, and the funny thing was I was so nervous about doing that. I was probably earning $350 New Zealand dollars a week, and which is, I don't know, it's maybe 200 US, and I was genuinely, like, I was so scared about it. Managed to get the client, and then was working with him for a long time, quit the job. The pay eventually got to 5 grand a month, and then US, and then so I was earning, I had a couple other clients, I was probably doing about 6 US a month.
Currently life is fucking amazing. It has changed so much since that initial video from when I quit my job. I believe when I quit the job, I was making maybe 6.5 grand a month. Now I think I'm on track to make, it'll be 10 to 12 this month, so definitely a big improvement, but just absolutely loving everything.
That was the first time in life where I managed to go from kind of earning nothing, never seeing good money, and then to, in my eyes now, I'm filthy rich with my 6 grand a month. And then the ego went through the roof. And then I remember I would scroll on TikTok and see these kind of these companies that you would have seen in the street interviews, and they go, "What's your job? How much do you earn?" And then I would watch it until they stated how much money they earn. And once they said it, I was like, okay, I earn more than you. Scrolled on, and the ego was through the roof. It was more of a mental thing. Like, I didn't just randomly spend money on flash things. The kind of lifestyle still stayed somewhat the same, but it was more of a mental thing. And then I got to the point where I lost that client, and he was probably 80% of the income, 90% of the income. And so everything disappeared, and I'm like, shit. Now I'm in big trouble.
From next month onwards, basically 80% of my income is from one client, and then they're going to be cutting that down to like 1. It's been from 5 grand to 1 grand USD, so it's a lot of money, and that's like 80% of my income. So this month is going to be a tough one.
And then that's when I turned closest to Jesus. It was initially it was like, oh, thank you. Like, I was praying as if he was a genie, which is, I'm sure a lot of other people do, and I try not to do that now because it's almost taken advantage. But when I did that, I was like, shit, everything is gone. And then, like, the whole ego was just deflated because now I'm at like a I don't know, grand a month or something. And then I, at that point, moved out. I was flatting with my girlfriend and then other people, random people. And then it's like, okay, now I've actually got kind of bills to pay. And it was a bit of a problem. And that's when I turned closest to Christ, where kind of on the knees praying and just, I think, I don't know, I was kind of begging almost. I was like, please just help me get out of this situation. Yeah, I think the lesson of it was kind of just things can be granted to you pretty quickly, but then they can be taken away just as quick. And I think it was more of a test because first time making decent money in my eyes, and then ego went through the roof. It was a bit of a test, and then it was gone. And then I've kind of, like, even now, I think I've developed a bit of an ego, but it's a lot more controlled and it's a lot more humble to what it was. And then now I think I've been kind of doing 10,000 US a month. I had that big goal for ages. Hey boy, come on. Let me put this down. Got my puppy Rebel here. He's 9 weeks. But anyway, what was it? Oh yes, so now it's kind of doing a lot better than I was, but then feel so lost. I don't know if, like, this video is more for myself and hopefully people can relate to it. And then I would love to hear what other people have done to get out of this process, because I think I've always been a very driven, ambitious and hardworking person. And then now for the first time in my life, I've hired a team member I've managed to remove myself from a lot of the service delivery, from the editing. And then now I'm like, shit, what do I do? This whole time I've kind of been so involved in service delivery because a lot of the business grew primarily from word of mouth. So there wasn't much outreach consistently. I did a lot at the start. I think the purpose is kind of gone because I've achieved the goal that I was wanting to get to, which was mainly from a monetary perspective. Got there and I'm like, nice. It's okay, great. And then now it's like I've achieved most of the things that I thought I wanted, and then now I'm questioning things. So I think for this, I don't want to waffle on and talk about 11 nothing and peak points and stuff, but I think with these, I don't know if I'll continue videos or what, but I think it's more to just get my own thoughts out there as well. It's a very interesting time in life, and I mean, only 21, you know. I think I need to remind myself that, and because I feel so young in the grand scheme of things, but then a lot older as well. So it's very strange, but I think the main goal with this isn't to kind of pose as this perfect person and everything that shits together and everything, because I think with the old videos, it was kind of like that. And then talking about success as an 18-year-old washing dishes for a job, it doesn't really add up, does it? So trying to figure things out as I go. I think this, if I can call it a channel, if I'm going to continue, or what, is going to be for just to document and things like that, because I've done the polished content where really high editing and try like the fancy lighting and the scripted content, and I've seen it with myself and a lot of other people, and you can tell. I've never met those people, and you can tell they're not like that. And that was like myself, just extremely robotic, kind of straight face, no emotion. And I kind of feel like that now, but trying to go off the top of my head and release it a bit, actually smile in videos or have a smirk or whatever, because the other ones, it's just no emotion. I think I've waffled on enough, but I think if I'm trying to give a message here, I think it's start the content, no matter how stupid you look. I mean, I wait until I finish school, so I didn't look as stupid or feel as stupid, but looking back at the videos now, just an idiot. But it's 100% worth it. Like, it's truly changed my life for the better. And yeah, I think God has a plan. We all don't know it. We all think we know what we want until we get there, and then things are a question. But I don't think, even if you've got the wrong goals in mind compared to God's plan, I think either way, content will help you unless you're a kind of a knobhead influencer who's doing anything to sell their soul and whatever. But you know what I mean. So appreciate you guys watching if you're watching. Otherwise, I'll probably watch this in a year or so later, have a laugh, and so yeah, appreciate it.